Hello, Screamer, and welcome to Scream Stream, your spoiler-free guide to streaming horror entertainment. I'm your new host, Jimbo Lewis. More on that in just a minute. If you're new to the show, what I do is pick a horror movie from one of the various streaming services and give it a spoiler-free review. Scream Stream is available wherever podcasts are served, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and many more. Just head over to screampod.com and all the links are there. If you'd like to support me and my creations, head over to patreon.com/JamesGass. It's going to be changing in just a minute. And more on that, I promise. We'll get into it. But you can also pick up some horror-themed shirts from the Scream Stream TeePublic store at tpublic.com/stores/scream-stream. You'll be supporting the podcast and any indie artists as well, creating killer t-shirts. So, what's with the Jimbo Lewis? So let me tell you kind of what's going on. You've probably heard me talk about in the past that the show to me just seems like it's missing something. I've tried to do different things, and what I finally realized, and I realized this recently when I started streaming the horror video games on Twitch. I use my government name for all of my professional creations. I'm doing air quotes. You can't see me doing air quotes, but I'm doing air quotes. And when I do that, and like with this show, I try so hard to be quote unquote a professional that I kind of like everything. I try to hide like my Southern accent. I try to hide most of my personality, and I try to be just as professional as I possibly can. And unfortunately, it makes everything sound like robotic and scripted and just unconversational. Is that a word? Is that even a word? And that is totally not me. And every time I record this podcast, I think, man, that was a job, and it was work. And it's not work in the fun sense of work. So recently, I started streaming on Twitch, and I've talked about this on a few episodes back. And when I'm streaming on Twitch, I'm completely myself, and I'm talking to the people who are watching, and we're having a good time. And I'm completely free of all of that professionalism. I mean, to a certain extent, I should say, but it's all conversational, and it's all just flows so naturally. And I think, why can't I do this in my podcast? And so that's what I finally decided. This is what needs to happen. So I'm changing the format a little bit. So instead of being hosted by James Gass, I'm now realigning, or you can even call it like rebranding, to the name that kind of my fun guy name, which is Jimbo Lewis. And so I'm going to be, well, hang on, let me say this. So the whole reason that the Jimbo Lewis part got brought up is because I want to stream this show live on Twitch as well. And if I was going to do that, because everyone on Twitch knows me as Jimbo Lewis, that's who I am. I am Jimbo Lewis. And so if I get on Twitch and say, hello, welcome to Scream Stream, my name is James Gass, they're going to be like, what's going on here? And it just creates confusion. So to minimize confusion and to merge all these things together, I'm switching to Jimbo Lewis. This is going to be a more conversational podcast. It's not going to be so boxy sounding. I guess that's like the best way I can summarize it. Like it's just really boxy, man. And I don't want to be like that anymore. It's not fun. And with me trying so hard to be quote unquote professional, it just keeps sounding so boring, man. So that's what we're doing. I'm changing format. So now every Sunday, probably starting at about 9:30-ish, I'm going to be streaming this show live on Twitch. So that's going to be like raw and uncut. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that live recording, because I'm also recording it as well. I'm going to take that live show, edit it down, export the audio, and then put it back into the podcast RES feed so that y'all can still hear it when I put it in the podcast feed. So it's still going to be podcast. I just want to do it live, and I want to be able to interact with folks. And it's going to be a little weird because when I'm doing the podcast, I'm not going to have my alerts on, because usually, like, if somebody follows you or donates or subscribes to your Twitch channel, like, you get alerts and all that stuff. So I'm going to have to turn all that off and completely ignore chat while I do the podcast. But then after the podcast is done, that's when I'll do my hangout and talk with the folks in chat and all that stuff. So we've built up a really fun community over there on Twitch. We call it Jimbo Fam. So if you aren't on Twitch and you want to be a part of the show, just come on over, sign up for an account. If you have Amazon Prime, so you also have access. You can also get Twitch Prime, and what that does is it gives you like extra emotes, so you can do emotes in chat. I know it sounds like I'm trying to sell you on something. I'm just trying to tell you about Twitch. If you don't know about Twitch, it's a lot of fun. And then once you get over there, you'll start looking for more streamers and stuff like that. And then I stream video games, horror games. I strictly play horror games on Twitch. Tuesday through Fridays from 9:45 p.m. until about 11:45. I'm going to try to change that from 9 to 11. I'm going to see how that goes, because my schedule is really weird with like going to the gym and all that stuff during the week. So I'm going to try to do 9 to 11. So if you're over there for the Scream Stream show, you can come and hang out with me while I play horror games. Like I said, we have a really fun community built up over there. I have a Discord where it's basically like private chat servers. So if you join my Discord, I have different like chat channels in there. So I have stuff for like movies and games and IRL stuff and food and drink and all kinds of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So I highly recommend that you come and check us out over there. So that's my new announcement in a nutshell. Starting next week, next Sunday at 9:30, I'm going to be streaming Stream Live on Twitch. I encourage you to come over, hang out with us, join the Jimbo fam, and we will have a lot of fun. I promise. So with this show, things are going to be a little looser. It's going to be a little more relaxed, and we're just going to have a good time, because that's what this podcast needs. It needs some fun, to be honest with you, because it's been pretty dull. I know. I can't try to hide it. It's been dull as hell. We're going to try to fix that. So now on to the movie. What movie am I reviewing today? Well, I was going to do this movie called Mara on Netflix, and it's a movie about sleep paralysis. And it turns out there's a lot of movies recently made about sleep paralysis. I feel like they've all been trying to do the same thing, and it's all like indie films too. And there's a couple in my queue, and then I saw this one, and I saw somebody say it. Maybe it was on Twitter or something, but they said this movie is great, it's scary, and blah blah blah. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to watch it. So I watched it, and you know what? It wasn't that great. It wasn't scary. Acting was good. The production was good. The cinematography was good. The shots looked great. The story was just boring, and there were like no jump scares. They tried with jump scares, but nothing scared me. It just wasn't good. I didn't like it. I thought, I don't want to just come on the show, because I already did a bad review. Two episodes in a row, we had bad reviews. I didn't want to be a third. So I thought, okay, what am I going to do? I don't know. So then today's Sunday. Yesterday, wifey and I watched Overlord. I thought, you know what? I'm going to review Overlord. Also, today we went to the movies and saw Us. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But let me get into the review of Overlord first. So I always thought this was directed by J.J. Abrams and written by J.J. Abrams, but it's not. It was just produced by him and Bad Robot, which is his production company. So this was actually written by Billy Ray and Mark Smith and directed by Julius Avery, whom I do not recognize. But what did he do? He did Son of a Gun, Jerrycan, Yardbird. Yardbird I feel like maybe I heard of, but I don't know. He hasn't directed a whole lot. Mostly short films. And he's directing a Flash Gordon remake? What? Okay, so he's relatively new. And then screenwriters, I don't recognize their names either. They've written, one of them, Mark Smith was the writer on The Revenant and Vacancy. Okay. I never saw Vacancy. Oh, and he also wrote Martyrs. The Martyrs, was that the screen? What, the screen? Was that the remake? Yeah, it was a remake. Okay. I think, yeah, it was a remake. I never saw that. I probably don't plan on watching that because I didn't really like Martyrs that much. And then he wrote a film called Seance in 2006. So relatively unknowns, I'd say, made the film. But it stars Jovan Adep, Wyatt Russell, who is the son of Kurt Russell, and Mathilde Oliver. And for a brief plot synopsis, like super brief here, a small group of American soldiers find horror behind enemy lines on the eve of D-Day. That's it. That's all the synopsis it gives. So let me give you my synopsis. So we have a group of soldiers who have to, this is World War II, they jump out of a plane. Their whole mission is to destroy a radio tower built onto a church so that the American troops can land on Normandy Beach, the beaches of Normandy. Storm the beaches of Normandy. That's their goal. But what happens is they find out that underneath the church, they've built this bunker and the Nazis are testing something on people, and it has horrifying results. That's the basic synopsis. So let me start off with acting is good. I enjoyed it very much. I liked all of the characters. Some of the characters were on purpose, annoying on purpose, but not to the point where you were just annoyed with that character. So sometimes when a character is so annoying, you're just like, I wish they wouldn't even had this guy. And sometimes characters are annoying, but you get it. They're supposed to be, and it's okay. It works for the film. All the characters in this film worked. They all did a great job bringing the characters to life. There was nice character development. There was some interesting relationships that evolved between the group of American soldiers. The dynamic changed in such a way that it created a lot of interest. You know what I'm saying? And I like that. I liked it a lot. It was well written, super well written, man. When I saw the trailers for this, I was like, man, I really want to watch this. I'm so glad I did, because the story is great. It's kind of, I saw some folks in the comments or in the reviews of Overlord on IMDb say it's basically Call of Duty World War II Zombies. It's really not like that. It's not like that at all. It's a lot more involved, and they're not zombies. They're just, it's hard to explain, and I don't want to give a lot of it away. There's a lot of good action sequences. There's a lot of suspense. Like, the movie is extremely suspenseful. Like, from the get-go, you are on edge throughout the whole thing. As for jump scares, there's a few jump scares, not many, but I'm okay with that because because the level of tension and anxiety throughout the entire film, I'm okay that there weren't any jump scares. I was fine with that. Didn't bother me at all. I thought the shots were nice. The set design was amazing. Costuming was great. Characters were great. Special effects were amazing. The makeup for one of the characters near the end of the film was great. Like, it just looked really cool and really realistic. There's a lot of special effects happening, and it looked like a lot of it looked like practical effects. I think there's a couple times when you saw like blood spurts, they looked a little CGI, but like the major effects looked like it was done practically, which I liked. I thought it was pretty cool. The story was great. I think I mentioned that. If you can't tell, I really like this movie. I like it a lot. Currently it has a 6.7 on IMDb. And I guess maybe it should be a little higher. For my rating, like out of 5, I'd give it at least a 3.7 or 3.75 out of 5. It was a lot of fun to watch. I'll say that too. I wish I could talk a little bit more about the plot, but I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to like you can tell from the trailer. There's some really bad stuff happening inside of this fortress. I guess you'd call it a fortress or bunker or whatever. A lot of bad stuff happening, but it was good. It was really tense, and yeah, I liked it. I thought it was good. 3.75 for me. Highly recommend it. We watched this on Vudu, and it was $4.99 to watch. Either $3.99 or $4.99. I can't remember. Not that much. Definitely worth the rental if you don't want to buy it. Definitely worth the rental. It's $3.99 on Amazon Prime in standard definition. We don't ever rent the HD versions because you can't really. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. You can't really tell when you're streaming. So we always just rent the standard definitions. But I guess if you have like a super nice TV with like a surround sound system, I guess you would want to get the HD version. We do not. So there you go. Yeah, 3.75. And then today we went and saw Us. And this is the new film from Jordan Peele. And I have to tell you, I'm not going to do a full review. But let me tell you, this movie was good. Like, it was really good. It's got a 7.4 on IMDb, which I think is close to where it should be. I don't think it was as good as Get Out. Well, and I mean that as in, like, if Get Out was a 10, this would be a 9.5. It's really good. And if you haven't seen it, I do recommend go to check it out in the theater while you can. We went this afternoon. Still, like maybe 10, 15 people were there, which is nice because from my experience, if you go to a horror film, if you go to the theater to see a horror film, the people ruin the experience for you. They ruin the movie because most of them are obnoxious and rude and loud and super annoying. So it's nice to see a movie like this with a small audience. And the audience we had was fine. Well behaved, I guess, man. Well behaved audience. The movie was extremely creepy and just well acted. The shots in this film were outstanding. There's like one shot where the family was walking on the beach. There's a top-down shot, and you see the shadows. So it just looked like the shadows were walking. The way it's set up, it's a little hard to explain, but it's an amazing shot. I really love that shot. That's one of the ones that stick out in my mind. Really well acted. That was scary. It was a scary movie. And there's a few really good jump scares in there too. And the comedy in Jordan Peele's films is well timed and well placed. Wait, that's redundant, isn't it? Well timed and not forced. And I don't know, he just has really good jokes. And they're not like cheesy, and they're not, like I said, forced or anything like that. He's such a great writer. And his first two horror films are amazing. And I definitely recommend this one. Next weekend, I really want to see if we can go see Pet Sematary, the remake. I've heard that's really good. They're calling it the best horror film of 2019, which I think is a little early, but, you know, apparently it's really good. I can't wait to see it. So yeah, that's what we saw in the theater. Oh, and then Twilight Zone on CBS All Access is coming out. I'm not paying for All Access, but if you've seen it or if you've seen the series, let me know what it's like. Hit me up on Twitter, scream_stream. Let me know what you think. Also on the Facebook fan page, facebook.com/screampod. Let me know if you've seen the show and what you think about it. All right, moving on to new releases. On Netflix, we have a few films added that look kind of interesting. One is Mercy Black. I don't know what this is. It's horror mystery thriller. Like it says, 15 years after a traumatic crime, a woman is released from psychiatric care and tries to drive out an evil spirit that continues to haunt her. I'll put that in my list. I mean, the cover looks kind of cheap, or the artwork looks a little cheesy, but I mean, I'll add it. Not horror related, but sci-fi related. Ultraman. The new Ultraman is out. I used to love that show when I was a kid. I'll definitely be watching that. And then we have the Bye Bye Man. I've heard about this. It doesn't have good reviews. It was hyped up on a lot of the blogs. They said it was great, but the reviews say otherwise. So that's going to be on my list. And then we have Monster House, which is an animated film. This was actually a really good movie. I love Monster House. It's one of those, it's horror for kids, but it's a lot of fun to watch. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. It's got a 6.6 on IMDb. I think that's low. I think it should have at least a 7.5. Really good. Add that one to your queue. And then we have Friday the 13th. This is the remake from 2009. I actually like this movie, to be honest with you. A lot of people didn't. It's only got a 5.6 on IMDb and a 25% on Rotten Tomatoes. I liked it. I thought it was good. And it has one of the dudes from what's that show? Supernatural, which is now being canceled, apparently. I quit watching that show after like season 3. Anyway, I like the remake. I thought it was pretty good. Give it a shot. It's on Netflix. And then also Freddy vs. Jason from 2003. I never watched this movie, and I feel kind of bad. I feel like I should have watched this. So that's on Netflix now. I'm going to give that a shot. I don't know if I'll do a review. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'll give it a shot. And then Evolution, which is kind of like, it's comedy, sci-fi, horror-ish. It's really good. It's a lot of fun to watch. It's got David Duchovny, Sean William Scott, Orlando Jones, and Julianne Moore. That movie is a lot of fun to watch. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend it. Then we also have Deliverance, which I will probably watch. I've never seen it. Heard a lot of things about it. I mean, it's one of those classics where, you know, people just talk about this one all the time. I've never seen it, but I do want to watch it, so I probably will. And then that's it for Netflix. That's all. Wait, no, it's not. We also have Buried Alive, which looks like a Netflix original. Susanna Buried Alive. After a pregnant woman is murdered, her spirit seeks revenge against her increasingly terrified killers who are determined to finish her off for good. Genre is comedy, drama, horror, thriller. Okay. Oh, well, it's got a 7.1 on IMDb. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know. Who knows? And then we have Lupt, which is looks like a foreign horror. It's got 6.8 out of 10 on IMDb. Maybe I'll check this out. This is a Hindi film. Looks interesting. There's a lot of Hindi horror coming to Netflix recently. Maybe I should check out some of that stuff. If y'all have watched any of these Hindi horror films, let me know what you think. Maybe I'll check it out. Who knows? I'll put it in the list. Moving on to Amazon Prime, some really good stuff coming to Prime. Case 39 with Renee Zellweger and Bradley Cooper. I started watching this and didn't get around to finishing it. I don't know why. I can't remember. Blessed Child with Kim Basinger, Jimmy Smits, and Rufus Sewell. That's a really good film. Cloverfield from, when was this? Like 2005 or 2004? Somewhere around there. J.J. Abrams was not involved. I don't know if he was involved with this one or not. But this is a found footage film. This kind of start off the whole Cloverfield universe. Really good. I liked it. I liked it a lot. But I mean, I also like found footage. So, and then we have Friday the 13th Part 4 and Friday the 13th Part 7, which is weird. And then we have Friday the 13th Part 6. So we have 4, 6, 7. Oh, and 5. Okay, here we go. Friday the 13th Part 5. So we have 5, 6, and 7. What about, where's 1, 2, 3, 4? I don't know if they're on here. Are they on here? I have to look. Then we have Creepshow 2, Evidence, which looks like it might be a high budget movie, foreign film maybe. I don't know. I'm gonna add it to my watch list though. And then we have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. Who doesn't love Elvira? And that's it for Amazon Prime. Let me look to see if they have Friday the 13th. Let's see. Are they all on? Oh, they're not. They're not on Amazon Prime. Wait, yeah, it is. Hang on. Let me see. Oh, no, they're not. They're on Showtime. Streaming on Showtime. Okay. Interesting. So it is not included with Prime. Just 5, 6, and 7. Okay, interesting. All right, on to Shudder. Shudder, we have a few good things added, starting with Legend of Hell House. Was this like late 70s? I read the book. I really liked the book. Movie was okay. Like, not the best. Then we have The Fly from 1986, I think, with Jeff Goldblum. And then we have A Race with the Devil. Don't know what that is. Dead Silence. This is the movie about the woman who made the ventriloquist dolls. Super creepy movie. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend. Then we have Cloverfield again. Why is Basic Instinct? Why is Basic Instinct on here? Why is it on Shudder? That is not a horror movie. It's barely a thriller. Then we have Halloween 2 and 3. And then we have week 2 of Joe Bob Briggs' Last Drive-In. And this one includes The Winged Serpent from Larry Cohen and Society, which I have never seen, but apparently it's a trip. So I'll probably watch it. Yeah, and that's going to do it for Shudder. And actually, I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Scream Stream. Remember, next Sunday, about 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we'll be streaming live on Twitch. So if you want to watch the show live, come on over, hang out with Jimbo fam, and we'll have a good time. I love streaming live. I love it so much because I get to interact with everybody, talk to folks, meeting a lot of new people, awesome people. And if you want to support the show directly, Twitch is probably like the best place to do it. Because there you have like bits, which is like Twitch's currency. You can donate directly, or you can subscribe to the channel for $4.99 a month. Probably the best way to support Scream Stream. is to head over to Twitch. And that is twitch.tv/Jimbo Lewis. I'll put the links to all that stuff in the show notes. I guess I should have mentioned that in the very beginning of the show. But yeah, links to that will be in the show notes. So again, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Scream Stream. If you'd like to keep up with me outside of the podcast, you can do so. ScreamPod.com, where you'll find links to all of my social profiles. While you're there, you can listen to past episodes of Scream Stream. Subscribe to the podcast via your favorite podcatcher like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google. Is it Google Podcast now? Which kind of sucks. Well, I haven't used it in a while, but since I switched to iPhone. And then Stitcher and Overcast. What do I use? I think I use Overcast. Let me see. What do I use? Yeah, I use Overcast. I like it a lot. Recommended by several people, including Eric Vasquez, who highly recommended it to me. I like Overcast. I like it a lot. It is Apple only, though. If you have a movie you'd like me to review, head over to screenpod.com/contact, fill out the little form, and let me know. Or you can hit me up on the Facebook page, facebook.com/screenpod. You can join the page while you're there. And then finally, music used for Scream Stream was created by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Until next week, I am Jimbo Lewis saying, if it was real, the cameraman would be dead too. Good night.